We had breaking news at this hour. Efforts to impeach Donald Trump have failed in the House of Representatives. Articles of impeachment were filed by Al Green, a Texas congressman. Two articles of impeachment. The first was regarding Donald Trump's threat to execute Democratic lawmakers. The second related to Donald Trump's abuse of the federal judiciary. A vote was just held in the House of Representatives on tabling these articles of impeachment. That vote succeeded. Senior Democratic leaders voted present on the issue. A number of Democrats voted no, not to table. Some voted yes, but ultimately it was not enough to get anywhere close to the majority needed to impeach President Donald Trump. But the effort by Al Green is one that should not just be thrown away. In fact, it was an important effort for many, because many did vote to move the process forward to impeach the President of the United States today. So make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. If you want to support my work, subscribe by clicking my Substack link below. It's important to talk about Al Green's impeachment articles for Donald Trump because they're not just going to go away just because of today's vote. So let's look at Al Green's. Let's just jump right in.
What purpose does this gentleman from Texas seek recognition?
To address the House for 1 minute to revise and extend my remarks.
Without objection, the gentleman is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, and still I rise to note that tonight I have called for the impeachment of Donald John Trump, President of the United States of America. He is an abuser of presidential power. He has called for the execution of members of the House of Representatives, of this very House. He has demeaned members of the judiciary. He has conducted himself in office such that persons are now threatening members of the judiciary, threatening members of the House of Representatives, threatening members of the Senate. Donald John Trump, by his conduct, merits impeachment, trial, and conviction in the Senate of the United States of America, and should never hold any office of public trust ever again. I yield back.
Members are reminded to refrain from engaging in personalities towards the president.
Let's look at the articles of impeachment. The first article is abuse of presidential power by calling for the execution of members of Congress. It reads, in his conduct of the office of President of the United States, Donald John Trump, in violation of his constitutional oath to faithfully execute the office of the President of the United States and to the best of his ability preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States, and in violation of his constitutional duty to take care that the laws be faithfully executed, has unfaithfully, dangerously, and unconstitutionally abused his official position by threatening Democratic lawmakers in Congress with execution. President Trump called for the execution of 6 Democratic lawmakers, all of whom are currently serving in the United States Senate or U.S. House of Representatives, and who previously served in the military or intelligence communities. The second article is abuse of presidential power to intimidate federal judges in violation of the separation of powers and independence of the judiciary. It reads, in his conduct of office of President of the United States, Donald John Trump, in violation of his constitutional oath to faithfully execute the office of President of the United States, and to the best of his ability preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States, and in violation of his constitutional duty to take care that the laws be faithfully executed, has unfaithfully, dangerously, and unconstitutionally abused his official position by threatening federal judges. President Trump has fostered a political climate in which lawmakers and judges face threats of political violence and physical assault. And in this case, in this climate, has made threats and vituperative comments against federal judges, putting at risk their safety and well-being and undermining the independence of our judiciary. Case in point, in response to a federal judge, Trump posted, this radical left lunatic of a judge, a troublemaker and agitator who was sadly appointed by Barack Obama, goes on to quote Donald Trump. Now, Al Green sent this letter to all members of the House about why, essentially, he is explaining why he's trying to impeach Donald Trump. He says, I take no delight in proclaiming President Donald J. Trump as an abuser of presidential power, who is endangering invidious hate, putting American lives at risk, undermining our democracy, and dissolving our republic. At this critical moment in history, we must do more than confront the subordinate question of what he will do. We must also confront the superior question of what we will do. We know that if any other president has called for the execution of members of Congress and used vituperative language to intimidate federal judges, the opposition party would not wait until they had a majority to vote for his impeachment. They would do more than condemn his behavior. Each and every one of us would have voted to impeach him, and some members of the other party would join them. We just cannot wait until we all agree to do the right thing. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. reminded us that the time is always right to do what is right. John Lewis and peaceful protesters did more than complain and condemn. They didn't wait until it was safe to cross the Edmund Pettus Bridge on Bloody Sunday. They made precisely clear where they stood at the critical moment in time with their words, deeds, and actions. They had the courage of their conversation to march on bloodied but unbowed. They marched on until victory was won that allowed President Lyndon B. Johnson to get the Voting Rights Act of 1965 passed, making it possible for many of us to get elected to Congress. Dear friends, this is our Edmund Pettus Bridge moment, critical moment in time that can impact the rest of time. My dear beloved brothers and sisters, do what you may. As for me and mine, I will take a stand to save lives. I will take a stand to protect government of the people, by the people, for the people. I will take a stand to impeach this abuser of presidential power. I will do so even if I must stand alone, because for me on this issue, it is better to stand alone than not stand at all. With respect for God and country tonight, December 10, 2025, I will stand in the well of the House of Representatives and call for a vote to impeach President Donald John Trump. But the impeachment vote is and has failed. The impeachment vote will not succeed. Democratic members of Congress voted present. Why? Because Joint Leadership Statement on H.R. 939. They say, impeachment is a sacred constitutional vehicle designed to hold a corrupt executive accountable for abuse of power, breaking the law, and violating the public trust. The effort traditionally requires a comprehensive investigative process, the collection and review of thousands of documents, an exhausting scrutiny of the facts, the examination of dozens of key witnesses, congressional hearings, sustained public organizing, and the marshaling of the forces of democracy to build a broad national consensus. None of that serious work has been done, with the Republican majority focused solely on rubber-stamping Donald Trump's extreme agenda. Accordingly, we will be voting present on today's motion to table the impeachment resolution as we continue our fight to make life more affordable for everyday Americans. And so with that, Democrats, many did vote to table the impeachment resolution, not enough votes to pass. Articles of impeachment have been filed. A vote was forced, but it failed. And that's what I wanted you to know about this afternoon. Make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Spread the word so more people know. And subscribe to support my work to my Substack linked in bio. Hey folks, Aaron Parnas here. Thank you so much for watching The Parnas Perspective. Please consider subscribing to support our work as we grow this independent news media entity into something that rivals mainstream every single day. Thanks so much, and I'll see you soon.